mentor, an inventor. Not only does she sing, she's also an inventor, and she's ready to rock that business as well. So welcome. Her and her husband are well connected in like across the country, and welcome, Debbie. So glad to have you here.
Hi. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
It's amazing.
What?
You got a lot going on. That's amazing.
I have a lot going on. I do. But it's that's all I know. So if I just sit down for 5 minutes, I don't know what to do with myself. And that's what I know right now. So now it's time for the next step. Once the kids are, the youngest is 9. Okay, now I'm ready for the next step. So when Gina talked to me, I was very excited about doing this.
Oh wow! And what's a quick fun fact?
A fun fact would be yesterday. So I am a co-chair of this charity called Swing Pink, Power of Pink at Monmouth Medical, raising money for a hospital here in Monmouth County. And so we're going to do a virtual. We normally host a party that we created in 2015 that raises money for the hospital, mostly breast cancer for women. And we're raising that money to buy a machine that's a comprehensive machine that you don't have to go to the doctor many different times to be diagnosed, or it just is an all-in-one visit. And it's a really great machine that is very expensive, and we've been at it for 5 years. So we're about to buy it, but we're going to do a virtual party this year. Normally we play golf, tennis, pickle, and paddle in the morning, then go to lunch. In this scenario, we're going to have it virtually, just decided November 18th. And they asked me, can you get vendors? And then between yesterday and today, I got 15 vendors that are like on board with a blink of an eye, because it's a no brainer for them. They make money. The hospital gets 20% of the proceeds that they make given back to them. And so they, just before this call, they said, okay, that's it. We can't take any more. So it was really exciting to make those calls, and everybody's on board. And it's just an exciting thing in this time, this time of COVID, we still can fundraise.
Very cool. And from down that area, do you know Carolyn DeSena as well?
She's one of my best friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
my daughter, she just is outside my front door dropping off my daughter.
That is well, that is
right this second.
So Carolyn, we say hello.
Yes. Hi, Carolyn.
I was going to add that fun fact at the end. I knew you'd like that, Sean.
That is super fun. All right.
Yeah.
You weren't part of the Rumson Mafia that showed up at my beach house drinking like rum or something out of mason jars with Carolyn, were you?
Well, I've done that many times. What beach house? Where are you?
In Long Beach Island. So you would have remembered.
No, I was not on that trip, but I do know about that trip. So I was not able to do that trip, but yes.
Right. Very fun.
I mean, I wasn't there, but yes, I know about it. Well, and we always travel that way with her driver. We get it's normally, she does some other drink than that, but.
Yeah, I don't know what was in it, but mason jars were out. And my son, who's 19 at the time, was like, Dad, there's some like moms getting out of an SUV with the driver with like mason jars of alcohol. I'm like, yeah, that's what it looks like, Ty. There we go.
How did he know that it was alcohol?
Because he could see the way people are getting out of the car. And my son is a part of this formula, and he level 5 listens very carefully. So he quickly assessed all dynamics and was like, yes, they're not carrying mason jars of water. So
that is great.
Yep. So Debbie, welcome. Gina, back to you. We got some judges.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to our first judge that I see. She, by the way, is an angel. Her name is Nancy Pentilla. She is a holistic health practitioner, founder at Whole Body Wellness Center, CEO of and an ascension coach at Inner Miracles. She focuses on helping others heal through love. She is indeed like literally a big giant heart that she wears on her whole body. She's amazing. She's a beautiful soul. She guides others into elevating their vibration, to source energy, tapping into the creation and tapping into their love. She's amazing. She also hosts Outer Experiences, Inner Miracles podcasts and retreats. I adore this woman, Nancy Pentilla. Welcome. I love having you here right now. Your presence is felt.
Thank you, Gina. You're so beautiful. I don't know if I'm an angel, but thank you. You're so cute. Well, what you see in me is in you.
Awesome, Nancy. And where are you coming from today?
I'm coming from Northern Ontario in Canada. I'm like 8 hours north of Toronto, so I'm pretty isolated.
Is in the house today. And how about a fun fact?
Well, a fun fact for me is I do love my work. I love being a conduit for the highest source of love to come through. to help to heal people however they're meant to heal. So I've had the joy of witnessing people coming out of the comas when they've been on life support, including my father when he was alive years ago, and also avoiding organ transplants. So those have been some of the most amazing things I've had the joy of experiencing. So,
well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for being here today, Nancy.
thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Yeah, Gina.
Amazing, Nancy. All right, next up, the beautiful Jessica Musa. Welcome, Jessica Musa. She is a newpreneur coach, founder of Virtually Productive. She began her entrepreneurial journey with Virtually Productive, a virtual business support services firm. Her clients outsource all their business needs so they can focus on growing their business and serving their clients. She helps build relationships with clients and other entrepreneurs. She discovered an underdeserved market, the newpreneurs. I love that. Having been on the journey, she coaches new entrepreneurs to get the results they want faster by shortening the learning curve. I love it. Welcome, Jessica.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Jessica, thanks so much for being here. And one more time, I think I may have missed it or not. Where are you coming from today?
New Orleans.
New Orleans is in the house. Awesome. And what's a fun fact?
So my fun fact is not so fun, but I'm still coming down from it. I was stranded outside of the US for 6 months due to the pandemic. So
oh, man. Where were you?
I was in Nicaragua, like about 30 minutes from Costa Rica, little beach town for 6 months.
Oh my gosh. Well, that doesn't sound too bad.
That is not nothing. I mean, I'm sure, I'm sure it was challenging though, not to be able to get back. What were the conditions like there?
There are no flights. All flights are grounded. All the countries around are on lockdown, so I couldn't leave by plane, by boat. I tried to charter a private plane. There was no way to get out. And medical system there is really, really bad. So I did not leave my place at all, just to go to the grocery store.
Oh my God. Wow.
Quite scary. And I got back on a humanitarian flight. There's still no commercial flights, I think.
How long ago did you get out?
I got back to the US July 3rd.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Not so fun, but
wow.
Extraordinary dynamic and experience. So goodness. Yep. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And we have one more fine person.
Fine judge. Yes. And sorry, I had and I had Costa Rica vacation in my brain when you were saying that. So sorry about that. It couldn't have been fun. We have D Rush in the house. He's the host of Unleash the Rush with David Rush, from working the financial service gamut, including Greenwich Associates, Bear Stearns, JP Morgan, Bank of China, and so on. He is now running his podcast. David's talents are helping others improve how they show up and communicate through language to negotiate the skills in sales that they need with influence and integrity. I know without a doubt that you are a master at that. David Rush, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
Good job, D Rush. Fun fact, sir.
Well, I'm the new father of a dog, which is a Yorkshire Terrier, not as big as the dog in the background there. And we have our first dog birthday party this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that.
That should be tremendously fun. Congratulations on dog birthday parties. We have dog birthday parties, people being stuck in other countries and making it home. It's just a normal fun Friday on Real Raw. So let's drop in with these amazing participants. So yes, Elena, I have either a 1 or a 2 under this table. Do you think it's a 1 or a 2?
Dave.
It is a 2. So that means that Debbie, it is your choice. Would you like to go first, or would you like to throw Elena under the proverbial bus and have her go first?
I think I'm going to have Elena go under the bus.
All right.
Sean, would you share about who you are and what this is about?
Yeah, I don't really know. I just kind of come on here once in a while and see what's cooking, and we roll through it. No, my name is Sean Callaghy. I'm the co-founder of Unblinded. And in a nutshell, this is about influence, integrous, heart-centered influence being a superpower. And 23 years ago, I was in my dream job at a law firm after I did not have the dream job of being a professional baseball player because I was going blind. when I realized that influence is a superpower. I had no idea how the business world worked, anything worked. I was the first person in my entire family line to go to college. And I realized that the people who made a lot of money over there and had time freedom were very different than the people over here who had been working at the firm for like 30 years and were incredibly stressed, tired, exhausted, and not making a lot of money. And I'm like, I don't want to be those guys. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to be those guys either. And this whole thing about marketing, selling, like, I had no idea. It was not on the Columbia brochure or the law school brochure. And this is crazy. I want out. And then I found that influence could be with integrity and be a superpower. I built a 40-person law firm in 2 years after quitting my job, which, by the way, they offered me psychological counseling for quitting since I was starting my own law firm on a credit card and I was only 6 months out of law school. And I couldn't believe what was possible. Today, I own a 125-person law firm. Yes, I've had the unique privilege of, as Elena was mentioning, from the Tony Robbins world, of speaking on Tony Robbins' stage in 7 of the last 9 events, including having supported that incredible platinum partnership program in breaking all sales records at Date with Us in 2019 of most people signing up. I also have the unique privilege of being one of only 2 attorneys in the country that have 2 top 100 national jury verdicts between 2014 and 16, and the only person that was blind. So blindness could be fun and could be its own superpower, story for a different day. My fun fact is I am blind and taught a blind guy to surf in the last month, jumped out of an airplane. I surf double black diamonds and do all kinds of cool and adventurous stuff, including having been surfing in California and some pretty awesome surf just last week. And I stepped on 15 stingrays in 5 days. That's my fun fact for today. Yes. Gina, we are ready to rock and roll. So Elena, you're going to kick us off, if you would be so kind, since Debbie is under the bus. And Elena, what's going to happen now is Brian can be anybody you want him to be. He can be any avatar, an ideal client, somebody that you might want to merge ecosystems with, create a strategic alliance with, raise money for charity. It's about hello to yes with him. He'll be anybody you want him to be, including himself or general avatar or any specific person. So really the question is, Elena, what's a big yes that you're seeking in the world? And that really sets up who Brian will be. So who would you like Brian to be?
Well, I actually have a meeting this afternoon with a gentleman named Brian.
Awesome.
With a university that we are working to bring from our nonprofit, our wellness program to our financial literacy and wellness program too. So I think it's serendipitous that his name is Brian. So I'll go with that.
Let's do it.
You want Brian to be from the university. And what does he do there?
So he's in charge of the programs for the students.
All right. Brian, you're in charge of programs for students. And Elena, you have 6 minutes to go from hello to yes. And that yes could just be for a longer meeting, or it could be to move all the way into a final yes in this meeting. And there'll be a break halfway through the meeting at about 3 minutes, but you don't have to set up the second half. So we're just going to go like, hey, Brian, you got a quick phone call, pause, and then we'll come back for the second half. It's all about hello to yes. Our judges in this first round, it's about opening listening. So how well Elena is opening Brian's listening, connecting in a heart-centered way, and putting something at stake. So Elena, are you ready?
Sure, as ready as I can be.
Yeah. Well, listen, this is what we do every day, right? We go from hello to yes with people. And yep, there's some folks watching, but footnote, there is no such thing as rejection. There's no such thing of failure in the world. There's all kind of crazy stories, which is, of course, is a story for another day. But yeah, please take us in. Brian's ready.
Well, hi, Brian. It's nice to meet you.
Hey, Elena, how you doing?
Good. Well, thank you for this meeting. I know you only have a few minutes, so I'll just jump into it. Do you mind telling me a little bit about what the most important thing for you is for your female students at your university?
Yeah, our very first thing is about their safety and making sure that whenever they are on campus, that they're protected in the environment. And second thing is probably that they are getting the proper amount of health, fitness, and as well as maintaining their education status.
Wonderful. So especially now with COVID and all of your students learning remotely, do you have any concerns about their well-being, especially the female students that are graduating this year? And if so, what are those concerns?
Yeah, because of the concerns are because of the lack of connecting anymore. how are they building relationships? How are they connecting with their peers? And how they're going to transition into the working world.
Wonderful. Well, as you know, Mary, made this introduction, and she's one of your top donors at your university. And she had similar concerns as you have about these students, as her passion is so much about helping women, as there's a unique style of leadership, growth, connection, and financial literacy that goes on for a woman. And so with those concerns being at the forefront of the university, my other question for you would be, have you ever noticed some of those universities out there that create programs that bring out these leaders from the university that are unique from the standard or the norm? And if so, are those some of the programs that they're putting in place? Are you implementing those?
Yeah, we've looked at a lot of programs, and it's just looking to find the right one that fits our students and what we're looking to transition those students into their careers, into life. And yes, having greater leaders, women leaders out there in the workplace.
That's wonderful. So our program, the Living Well program, really brings financial literacy in a real unique way. How women learn financial literacy. So we actually learn it very differently than how it's taught traditionally it's not really taught in schools, as you know, but how it's presented to the world. And so we have this very unique program in our Living Well program where we bring together not only the financial literacy piece, but as you mentioned, the wellness piece. So their physical, emotional wellness, their leadership skills, the ability to connect with everyone. And what we'd like to do is provide you with a gift of providing this program to your top 10 female students, free of charge. All that we ask, free monetarily, of course, but all that we would ask from you is if you would be willing to allow those students to give us feedback 6 months, a year down the road, to see if they've fulfilled their dreams. So if it's a dream job that they're hoping to acquire, to start a business, but all financially, physically, emotionally, and then with their leadership skills and their ability to connect with people. Is this something that you would be open to doing with us and partnering with our organization on?
Hey, Brian.
Yeah,
quick call. We'll be back in just a moment.
Yeah, Elena, great speaking with you. I just need to grab this call and we'll connect back up.
So Elena, excellent job. How'd that feel for you?
I was super nervous because I know that this is being recorded, and this Brian has no idea of the background, where the other Brian that I am going to be meeting with knows a lot about what we're talking about today. So I didn't have, in 3 minutes, obviously build rapport over a screen and then describe all the life-changing things we've done with other education firms, not being able to provide that information for him to know that it's credible.
Yeah, so we're going to drop into that in a little bit. So excellent job, excellent question, point, issue, and we're going to figure out some things about that. So let's go to Debbie. Debbie, are you ready? Is Debbie muted?
Yeah, she's unmuting.
I'm ready.
Okay. Are you packing a mason jar for this round?
Definitely not. That would not help me.
That would not help. Okay, clear. So who would you like Brian to be?
Brian, could you be an investor in my creations, my inventions, all of them, please? I want you to invest in all of them and make them all very lucrative and serve the people well that use them all.
So you want Brian to be a person of substantial means and to be an investor? Does he run a fund? Is it his own personal money?
Could he be two things? Could he be an investor? And someone to help me find the means to make these products. So make the prototypes.
Sure. So he makes prototypes and he's an investor and can help raise money. Got it, Brian?
Got it.
All right, let's go, Debbie.
Okay. So I have I've always dreamed of making things, and I worked on Wall Street for my career, and as much as I like doing that, I just felt like I had a black boot on my head, just stopping me from doing what I wanted to do as fast as I wanted to do it. So when I left Wall Street and had all the children, I went at that, full bore. Now, as the youngest is 9, and as I've lived this life with the kids, so many things have come to mind that could be good for kids. It could be good for adults in the world. As Gina mentioned, I'm involved in sports, playing them and coaching them. I find something very needed for coaches. And then from my own standpoint, there's needs that I'm always wanting, and it's not out there in the marketplace. So why don't I make it myself? And I think it would serve everyone well. So I don't know whether I should go through, I'm kind of giving up some of my inventions here in this private forum, which I don't mind doing if we obviously all don't take it anywhere. But there's 3 different ones that I think are my top 3 achievable ones to first do. And once I get rolling with using plastic and metal is what I would need for these inventions, and learning what I need to do with patents and lawyers and getting things made, et cetera. And then I want to parlay that into many different avenues. But what do you think how should I take this from here?
Well, Debbie, I guess I'm trying to maybe connect with one of the inventions. Is there 3 ideas that you have? Maybe which one is the most critical one that's gonna your needs align with and have maybe the greatest upside for the marketplace to serve?
Okay, good question. I think the first one that I would, it may not be the greatest for myself and the people I'm around, but I think it would be the best step and the first one that came to my mind. And it came from the Rainbow Loom, which was a kid's kit. Then they made bracelets. You might all have had them. Someone made them for you. They're made out of little rubber bands. It was this little kit that people are still to this day. It was 7 years ago, still making these bracelets. And it was something creative for kids to do that took them off their iPads and phones and computers and anything else, but it kept them creative. And it was also, it could travel anywhere. So they took them to each other's houses, took them to the pools, beach clubs, wherever, after school, lunch. So I feel like it's that would be my first foray into it, where I would be working with plastic and rubber and pretty achievable product. And this is something to make a barrette, which I grew up doing this, but I would create more from something that I knew. And it would be something to bring to the kids that now they have nothing, and nothing has come in the marketplace in years since the Rainbow Loom. So as a parent, I'm very frustrated that the kids just go to their phones, go to their iPads, always want to, they're not being creative. They're just screen time is where they go. So I would like to invent this barrette situation that, it is for girls only. I don't think many boys would be doing this, but it would be a product for girls that I could market no longer as their Toys R Us, where I first thought I was going to go to them and have them buy in. I didn't want to put up much capital. I wanted to see if there was a way to have someone buy into the product and help me produce it, where I'm not putting in, the amount of capital if I were to do it all myself. So I don't know exactly how to do that, and if that would be possible to be able to have someone help me make this and not put up as much capital.
Hey, Brian, you got a quick phone call. You bounce back in 1 minute.
Hey, Debbie, I like what you're saying, and we'll connect back up. I need to grab this other call.
All right, Debbie, how'd that feel for you?
It felt comfortable. It felt good. I'm just passionate about it, and I think Brian was listening, and I could tell he would be very responsive and to the request. And I don't have any notes. I didn't write any notes, so I'm just speaking from my head. I could probably polish that up a bit, but it felt okay. I wasn't nervous at all. I feel comfortable with it. I feel comfortable with the ask. I feel comfortable with what I don't know versus what I do know and want to do.
Absolutely. All right. Excellent. Great job. Brian, what'd you have for that first round? Just a quick, word for the encounter, and maybe rating like the heart-to-heart connection with each.
Yeah, it was really just head. So it was, I was trying to get to where we were going with it, maybe lack of clarity, and about a 6.5.
Okay, very cool. All right, let's go to the judges. David Rush. Let's start with Elena. Quick, not quick, but 30 seconds of feedback, 15 seconds on what worked, 15 seconds on what didn't. At time, I'll hold the phone to the screen at the countdown. So David, please.
Sure. Elena, great job. Loved the progression of questions and how you worked through the conversation. Well done on that, and just moving through it, also coming from maybe knowing what he knew in the background, and there was just a little bit of challenge there. Where I would suggest maybe up front in that initial check-in, I know you mentioned Mary Ito, you might have just said, so great that Mary connected us, and like almost warming that up and finding out where Brian's at before jumping into, I think the first question was what's most important for females, maybe just building a little bit more rapport before jumping into the conversation.
And a score?
I gave 8.0.
Excellent. And for Debbie?
Debbie, I think up front, similar to what I'm saying with Elena, is like checking in with Brian, just finding out like how things are going, maybe coming from more of a what's going on in Brian's world before I think you just went into these are the things I'm doing, which one should we focus on? And then I would also say maybe a little bit more clarity inside of like what your ask of Brian was inside of the conversation. What I would say you did well was, you have a lot of good things. You were speaking passionately about the stuff that you do have. So I love that. And Sean, I'd say 7.0.
Nice. Jessica, what do you have for Elena? Thanks, David.
Hi, great job. I think you were comfortable with the process. I feel actually on both of the calls, no one actually introduced themselves and said, this is who I am, this is where I'm calling from, this is what I do. And I think it was great that you added Mary in, build rapport, you guys know the same people, it's trust. But I think you had to get more to like the point, what program and what you needed a little quicker. But overall, I think it was great.
Excellent. And for Debbie?
Debbie, so same thing. There wasn't an introduction, and I felt like it wasn't much of a conversation. It was just like David had said, this is what I want, this is what I do. And it probably needed a little bit more of a connection with Brian.
Okay, cool. And how about a score?
8.
Okay. And thank you so much. Nancy?
Hey, I totally agree with building rapport at the beginning, because it's true with Elena. I loved your smile from your heart. I loved how warm you were. You flowed with ease and grace in that way from your heart center. I just felt this love from you that it started to build throughout the discussion. Like you were just, at first you were a little uncertain, and then you kind of built that confidence and that rapport throughout. You had great questions, you were on point, and you have a genuine interest in your listener. So I could feel like, you're kind of just feeling him energetically, that he's connecting with you and listening. Your smiles were everything to me. Like the smile was just beautiful. Definitely introducing yourself at the beginning would be very important, and telling a little bit about yourself would be definitely a great start instead of jumping into the questions right away. And with Debbie, I felt your confidence. I do agree with, of course, with you as well, introducing yourself at the beginning, building that rapport. I could feel your passion, and yeah, you didn't really engage directly with your clients. So it was like, you could just kind of maybe open your heart center a little more to engaging and listening to your client as well. And maybe that would help you build on your passion and your purpose with your discussion. So, but for both, I would give 8.
All right. Thank you so much, Nancy. Excellent. So ready for round 2. Brian is back from his phone calls. Brian will pick it up with Debbie. And Debbie was like, yeah, so what do you think? And I'm not quite sure how to do it. And that was like a pending question for you. Maybe let's pick it up there and take us into round 2.
Hey, Debbie?
Yes.
I really feel your passion. And one of the things that you did connect me with here that I'm open to is I love the creativity for young women to have that space available to them to grow and develop at a young age and get away from their phones, get away from the computers. So I think that I really hear your passion for that. And that does align with, I have daughters, and I would love to see them just grow and develop as young, powerful leadership and access that for their lives.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I guess I'll ask you about my second one. I will tell you about that a little bit. And you said you had daughters, so you might have coached, or do you coach anything, or do your kids have sports, play sports?
I am a soccer dad. They love soccer.
I love it. I love it. Well, then this you might connect with is I have soccer players and lacrosse players and all these basketball players, and I find that coaches struggle with their voices, being able to yell the whole game and get their point across and have kids hear them, even on up through professional sports. Is coaches struggle with their voices. I've kind of had that type of situation with a raspy voice and struggling with that. So I was thinking about making an earpiece that just hooks on so that it makes it easier for coaches to be able to be heard from the sidelines and make it less stress on them to be yelling the whole time, but for them to project their voices. So what do you think? Do you think that would be something that could be useful to people and coaches? And what have you experienced that you might be able to add to that?
Anything to get the girls to listen a little bit better, and to get my play calling out and get the team to huddle.
Yeah,
that it seemed interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So I just think that it would be a fairly easy thing to make. It's not very complicated, but something that would be very useful for, and it may grow from here. Maybe it goes into other teachers use it, even though I know they have some devices they use, but it could probably parlay into many different avenues other than just coaches on sidelines. So
I think professional sports, a lot of things it can be used in.
30 seconds.
I have 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So Debbie, I'm going to have to jump to another meeting in 30 seconds, but I just want to ask you, have you started running any numbers on your business, these ideas, or what stage of development are you on in your thought process?
I'm in a very early stage. After speaking with Gina, this is very, very early. These are just thoughts and desires that I want to start this company. So I'm not that far down the road yet. I have made a prototype for the Bretts. It's called Bretts, but I've made a prototype, and that's how far I've gotten with that.
Great, Debbie. Debbie, I got to run. Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Excellent work. Debbie, you're up to inventions and coaching and leading and raising money. And it's a dynamic life for you. So how was that for you?
How is it for me?
Yeah, how was that round for you?
Oh, the round. It's good. I didn't really understand. I think I haven't fully understood how this was going to go. So I didn't realize it was going to be a two-way as much as it is. So I apologize for that.
No,
and,
okay.
I love to connect with people, and I understand how important that is. And so I think it's a good round. I'm very in the early stage of all of this. So I don't have all, the preparation as much as I would in a company that I was already building. So it's more of just throwing it out there and seeing if I could deliver it, if I could produce it. And I love to hear everyone's feedback and how to do it and how to go about it. So I was very excited for Gina to ask me to do this. I'm a little ahead of myself with the inventions, but
Listen, thank you for your courage and vulnerability for being here and doing this, as well as Elena. So thank you. We'll hear what the judges have to say in a moment. Yeah, thank you. So Elena, are you ready for round two? Brian is back.
Sure.
All right, Brian, let's take it away. It was, how does that sound to you? And we'll take it from there.
Elena, it sounds great. I think I just have some questions about how to identify how you maybe would recommend us to pick those women out that would be part of your program.
Yeah. So, Brian, thank you for allowing me to ask you the question before your call, but I realized I didn't really give you much background. So I personally have been in the financial industry for 16 years. And back in 2012, I had this dream really of going. I went to a Tony Robbins event, and I thought, I wanted to do something more to actually give back beyond just serving my clients, but actually serving people through a voluntary way. And a few years ago is when we started this nonprofit. So we've been able to serve women through, like, for example, Mari, who I love to go out and speak with and share her story. She came to us, she was in the homeless hotel when she came to us. So she had no car, 4 kids, she was on welfare to work, came through our program, and back in June of 2019. And now she's got a wonderful place of her own. She's full-time job serving homeless people through an organization in our area. She's got a car, she's many scholarships for college, she gets to stay in school, and she just got married 2 weekends ago to a wonderful man. So we don't take full credit or anything at all for our program, but really it's the person who really wants to take their life to that next level. And then Mary, who connected us, who's a philanthropist, a CEO, a go-getter, she takes our program every single time that we offer it to the community. So it's really about the women in your college, the girls in your college who want something more and who are willing to put in their own personal work. Really, that's who we want. That's who's going to get the most out of what we have to offer in our program.
Well, that story really touches me about coming out of homelessness and raising up women to that. So what I'm hearing is you have tools that are helping women live more abundantly and see things, wealth side as well as the health and leadership, it sounds like.
Yes, so we have it's a 5-week program. We actually got online last October, so that was serendipitous. We got an investor who just came to us, and it was very, we obviously didn't predict COVID, but chapter 1 is a leadership program. It's about connections and finding your own inner strengths, but also finding those around you who complement your strengths, whatever your goal or your dream or your mission in life, building that community. Chapter 2 is emotional wellness, or week 2. Week 3 is physical wellness, but we don't just talk about exercise. We actually work with the Heart Math Institute out of Santa Cruz. We talk about heart-mind connection, which I learned a little bit about at Tony Robbins and then went deeper in the research on that. And that's where we brought the program. And then chapter 4 is financial wellness. So we work with financial professionals from all over the United States to help mentor. Okay.
No, 20 seconds left.
20.
Elena,
Okay. And then
really interesting.
And then chapter 5 or week 5, they create their mission statement for their lives. And that's something that I learned at Date with Destiny, which I thought was so valuable. So we created our own program for them to do that. But we also keep in touch with everyone to make sure that they have mentors and that they're going along on their dreams and their goals.
It sounds beautiful and definitely would be interested. Thank you.
Awesome. Elena, how'd that feel for you?
I felt better because I was able to obviously share more about who we are. 3 minutes felt a lot shorter than it was. So I think in the first half, I could have probably brought more to the table. But I also feel it's important to ask questions so that you make sure that what we're, talking to them about is valuable to that organization. So maybe I should have flip-flopped everything potentially. Maybe that would have been a better strategy.
Okay, let's explore that for a sec. So Elena, what's the outcome? What are you certain that your program delivers for these fine young women?
So I think it's really about finding their fulfillment, and kind of as cheesy as it sounds, a lot of the women that come through our program have gone through something really challenging in life. So it's really like creating their hero's journey. So them seeing the areas in their lives that have not been, that could look like a tragedy, really being an area where they can find their strength. And then of course, we bring those pragmatic skill sets to the table too, like the financial literacy and the leadership skills, so that they can actually go after, monetize that hero's journey. So,
you know what I think would be super cheesy? Anybody that thought that what you just said is cheesy. That's beautiful and incredible. Like anything other than that will be negative vibrational, AKA cheesy. So let's explore this for a second. So
now you're making me cry. So it's very beautiful.
No, thank you. So could you be, Brian, the person that you're about to meet with. So would you mind being Brian for a couple minutes, and I'll be you.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, so let's explore this. Here we go. All right. Okay, so Brian, thank you so much for taking this meeting with me. I know you're busy, and I know you only have 3 minutes right now, but I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, Alina. We appreciate you meeting with us.
Yeah, and X University here is such a special place. I have a lot of connection and and presence to what you're doing for kids and for people. My question really is, Brian, and again, thank you so much for meeting. I know we only have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, but I want to know what drives you, because you think about the mission for this university, for the students, and like your vision of things. Why do you do what you do?
Well, I think for me, being the first person in my family to not just graduate college, but to also graduate high school, I and a lot of our students come from that background. There are a lot of children of migrant workers. There are a lot of children who've come over here, first generation United States citizens. So for me, it's really important to give them that American dream and make sure that they don't just get that certificate of graduation in college, but that they, are able to fulfill their goals and their dreams and take that degree to levels beyond just having that piece of paper.
Yeah, no, received. And I hear your heart in that, Brian. And so as you think about that, right, and in that landscape in this crazy time of COVID and challenges, what do you think is the key that you would like to see these kids take away? When you think about the students and you think about their journey and how to get to that American dream beyond the certificate, what do you want to see them take away from their experience at this beautiful university?
I think that I'd like for them to feel like they've had a family here too. So I think beyond just the outcomes and the education, I think letting them know that they're connected even through this time where they have to be so separate.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. And the last minute we have here, so would it be okay if I would share a little bit about myself?
Absolutely.
Okay. So like you, Brian, my vision and my heart is with people. And particularly my vision and heart is with young women and the journey and dynamics of what it's like to experience the challenges of life and the financial world. And the work that I'm committed to in this world is bringing young women into their hearts and together, but also not only creating financial literacy, but financial mastery, acceleration, and a vision that they can be empowered, be everything that this society might think and offer about what life can be, and to make their own way in the world. And we have a beta program. I mean, first of all, how does that sound to you?
Amazing. I want to write down everything you said and regurgitate it back tonight.
Okay. And Brian, so my final request would be, and perhaps we don't have time to do it right now, but what my proposal, my gift would be a beta test with 10 female students that meet a certain criteria, because I don't want you to trust and believe that it's all the things that we're saying. And we'd love to do a beta test and to prove to you these dynamics, because my background and experience has been in creating these types of transformations for people. And what you present here at this school is incredible. But I'm confident there's pieces of this that just aren't here yet. And I'd love for you to evaluate it, see it. And my commitment to you is on the other side of this program. These young women will be absolutely blown away. And you're going to say, hey, let's bring this and roll it out to the entire university. I'm not asking you to commit to that ahead of time. I'm just asking for a chance to give a gift to 10 students that are here. How does that sound to you, Brian?
That sounds great.
Okay, so I will pause. So Elena, your thoughts, feelings on that?
I mean, I want to, like I said, I wish I had this recorded so I could, practice and deliver my own version of what you just said.
Well,
That was beautiful.
but that is you, right? So don't see that as external from you. That's what I heard you say. And that is who you are, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just be in your heart today, listen, bring Brian present to his vision and mission, listen, ask questions, be in your heart, and be much less about how much you have to prove about the program, and engage him integriously and emotionally for the beautiful mission and vision you have. Fair?
Fair.
All
I
right.
love it.
Awesome. Okay, let's go to our amazing assessors. Please, Nancy, what did you have for these two fine folks? Perhaps we'll go in reverse order, and let's start with Elena. And by the way, how did that resonate for you, Nancy?
Oh, I could feel their hearts more in this part. And it's my first time here too. So I know, like, it's, you know, you get used to it. You don't know what to expect, but your hearts were both flowing. So you want me to start with Elena? I can start with Elena. Again, her smile just gets me every time. I love it. I could feel her heart in her smile. I love the introduction that she shared. I love the inspiring story. I have a very soft spot for homeless people, so it was really beautiful to me to hear your story and to share from your heart with that. That was amazing. And it was a very smooth flow. I felt like it was genuine and heart-centered, and yeah, I just felt really, really inspired. I was very, very inspired. It was beautiful. I felt the ease and the grace, and you're just starting, like, the more that you share, I think the more your heart's going to shine to the world. Like, I could just feel your heart. It was beautiful. So thank you for the inspiration. I really see you doing a lot of good in this world with what you're offering. So thank you.
Awesome.
I give you a 9. It was beautiful. And Debbie, I loved it. I could feel your heart open up too. And you're very warm, and your hand gestures, your arms were, you know, really expressing. So I could feel your genuineness and could see it too. I love that. And I know your passion and the difference you're going to make in the world, because our children really need this. They really need what you have to offer. And again, I love children. I have another soft spot. Children mean the world to me. And it really bothers me how much they're on their devices and stuff. They're so programmed right now. They need to be creative. They need some boredom to be creative. They need to become writers. They need to become artists. So I feel like what you're doing is like the tip of the iceberg for what you can offer in this world. I know you're new to this, but I feel like there's going to be so much more flowing through you the more that you're in your beautiful heart and sharing your creative passion with the world. You're bringing depth to these children. So thank you.
Beautiful.
And you have a 9 as well. Thank you.
And Nancy, thank you for sharing your heart. It was felt and was present. And how was your day today on the Real Raw?
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. I've always loved your energy, and I love Gina so much. So it's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I love your heart. I could feel your heart in everything you do, Sean. So thank you so much.
Nancy,
It's an
and
honor.
yours as well. So thank you. Jessica, what do you have for these fine women of entrepreneurship?
Hi, I think it's amazing both of you came on here and just did your thing, because it's so nerve-wracking, and I would be such a nervous wreck being on the other side right now. But I think for both, you guys made so many changes after we said our pieces before, so that's great that you guys took it in and made changes. For Elena, the love for what you do comes through. I mean, there's no question about it in your voice, in your smile, everything about it. There's so much emotion, and that in itself connects with people. I also, and I think it's great you went back and introduced yourself and gave your background, like why you're into finance and helping women with finance, because of your background, obviously. So I gave you a 9 because you went up a point.
Awesome. And how about,
And Debbie, so you also went back and connected. You asked Brian if he played sports, or he's a coach. I'm sorry, if he's a coach, and you connected. He has daughters, and then, you know, the girls and the Barrettes. So it's great that you went back and connected. And you're truly excited. Like, the excitement comes out when you speak. Like Nancy was saying, you know, your hands, your voice, you're very excited, and it comes through, and that's exciting for an investor to see. The only piece I would give, but you're so new, so it doesn't really, you know, it's not fair to say to have numbers, but you're so new. So I'm not even going to say anything, but you got a 9.
excellent. And Jessica, how was your experience today?
Just like I think everyone else, first time I come on, so I wasn't really sure. I watched a sample show, And I think it was super exciting, and I'm honored to be able to give feedback. I'm not perfect, none of us are, but I appreciate that I'm able to give something back.
Thank you. We are all perfectly imperfect. So thank you for that. Great job today. Really appreciate you. D Rush, what do you got, sir?
I'm always amazed how we just shift into that heart space, even though I've been on a number of these. And Elena, Debbie, both of you opened up in a different way in the second half. So I acknowledge you both for that. Elena, I loved your, what we call heroic, unique identity and who you are and what you're up to, and connecting on a different level. And then just demonstrating what Sean was demonstrating was like having maybe a little bit more of a question into Brian and where he's at with what you shared so powerfully. So that's what I would just say is like dig in a little bit more with him so that you can connect at the same level that you're connected at, and that goes a long way. So well done, 8.5. And then Debbie, also like just coming out more and who you are and like what you're passionate about, that was just shining through. And in that micro moment where Brian was on board with you, I would just say like, you know, dig in a little bit more with Brian and be clear on what you want to do with him, because I think we shifted into your second product without maybe exploring like his connection to that first one and like how he could potentially help you. So I would just dig in a little bit further before we're jumping from space to space, but well done as well, and 8.0.
Awesome job. D-Rush, thank you so much for being here, for all you do, and how was today for you?
My pleasure. No, always a learning opportunity and just happy to be a part and provide service in some way, and just love you all.
Great job. Elena, how was today for you as we begin to wind this home?
Oh my gosh, it was so informative and educational. And I'm like, I want to ask you, like, okay, so you coach people, because how do I sign up for that?
Well, it's funny you can say that. No, we don't have not like been promotional in any way on here, but yes, there'll be plenty of ways to talk about and follow up. But we have an upcoming event, which all of you, because you came on today, are invited as our guests. Sure, but there'll be follow-up communication, and thank you. And just, this is recorded. So as you go into your meeting today, you know, feel free to watch and, you know, or just be in your heart. You don't need to, I was you, and that is who you are. You know, you just were a little bit in your head, and just get into your heart and listen deeply, connect deeply, be like Oprah said, leave Brian today feeling like I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me, and then share your heart and genius. Because you have a beautiful heart and magnetism about like the integrous energy of your vision. So great job. Okay. And Debbie, how was today for you?
It was a very interesting experience, because I guess I come from a background that you don't emote so much. You just, it's all about, you know, getting the job done, and without emotions and not speaking with the heart. So it's a complicated marriage to know when to use that, when not to. But in listening to you being Elena, it just was powerful, because you were serious about what you were doing, but you came at it from an honest and passionate standpoint.
So can I share this, Debbie? And this is a critical seminal moment. And if people have to drop off, I get this will probably take me 2 minutes to run through. So the great lie of our society, of our world, of business, of courtrooms, of boardrooms, is that people do not make decisions for emotional reasons. Gordon Gekko was right in Wall Street, sort of, but missed the mark. Greed is an emotion, and greed motivates intensely. But greed is defeated by heart-centeredness, and that's why Gordon Gekko ended up in prison in Wall Street. And to prove the theory, right, 2 quick points. One, have somebody who says they are the most analytical, straight up, numbers-driven, logical, decision-making human being on the face of the earth. And then ask them if they have kids. And if they do, you know they're mistaken. Because kids are expensive. Kids cause problems. Kids do crazy things. And the only reason to have kids, or in fact, a monogamous relationship, is purely emotional. So we all make emotional decisions, but I have a better one. The largest jury verdict in the last decade in Arizona happens to be one that my firm, lead counsel, created. And in that decision, we were faced with the number one, in my mind, most brilliant federal judge in America at the district court level. He writes the federal rules for civil procedure, and he does not smile ever in any day. And he is the closest thing at presentation to a founding father. I felt literally like I was speaking in front of the Continental Congress. Everything about his courtroom is precisely timed, and he has a court rule that says there's no emotion in my courtroom, but he says it without emotion because he's completely stoic day in and day out as an arbiter of justice and integrity, which he is. But with respect, I think he too is mistaken. And how do I know? Because on the final day of this process that lacked emotion at any moment for 1 month, in what he would write in various opinions was the most contested, contentious trial ever that he ever presided over. And I had put at stake from the very beginning that somebody was lying and somebody was telling the truth, which was in fact the truth. And when this crazy, insane case was done, how things normally functioned in his courtroom was that the foreperson read the jury verdict. And the foreperson would give him the verdict, he'd review it, hand it back, and be read. But what happened was the judge started flipping through it, flipping through it, flipping through it, and then he looked up. And he looked at me, then he looked at them, then he looked back at me. Then he looked back at them and he said, I think I'm going to read this one. And then he started reading. And he read with just a little bit of emphasis, as he said, that the jury found that they caused damages and that their conduct was evil-minded and malicious. Just a little bit of emphasis as he looked at opposing counsel as he said it. And in that moment, for me, confirmed for like the 5,998th time, is the fact that no matter how much people say they are not motivated by emotion, they absolutely are, because he was just and he was fair and he was unbiased, and he was so happy that justice was done because those people had brought filthy, disgusting, repeated lies into his courtroom, and he was so happy they got hammered on the head by that jury. And that's how I know that everybody decides things emotionally. It just depends upon which emotion we put in front of them. So that's my 2 cents. Or maybe I'm totally crazy and completely wrong, because I do think we're all just blind and learning to see. But that's what I believe and I've seen in the 27 years that I've been in business, 23 years practicing as an attorney. And that's my 2 cents. So Debbie, thank you so much for being here today. You are amazing and a rock star. And I am very, very thankful that you were here today.
Thank you. I'm thankful I was here today too. It was so nice to meet everybody. And thank you for all your feedback and for taking time to listen and advise.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Brian Ripple, you're a gentleman, a genius, a rock star, and one of the hardest working people that I know. Thank you for being here. Any final from you?
These women are going to do amazing things, and you feel their passion in their heart. So I'm glad to have met them.
Yeah. Awesome, brother. Love you all. Happy Fun Friday. Let's love everybody unconditionally with boundaries, and boundaries can include hitting somebody with a lightning bolt. Have a beautiful weekend.